Hey guys, today we are going to talk about the Buddha fruit. We will go over its good sides and its bad sides. Let's start with the first ability. Right away, I will tell you that Buddha has no regular clicks. To use any ability you have to transform first, I'm pressing X right now, but it is not working. The transformation looks like this. You become really big, but the coolest part is that you can use fighting style instead of normal clicks. Most people who play Buddha use fighting style because of that. Once I got cornered, and you can probably guess how it ended. I just got killed. That was Buddha V2 though, and she was not even using abilities back then. Anyway, let's move on to the actual abilities. Here's how the first one looks. Its biggest downside is that after you use it, Buddha raises her hand. If you have two enemies, for example, watch what happens. You already raised your hand and they already took off almost 2,000 HP from you. That is a pretty big minus. For PvP, it is not that great. It is okay for farming levels, maybe. But let's move on to the second ability. Here's how the second one looks. You just jump straight onto the enemies. It's best not to use this ability over water. Otherwise, if your HP is low, you might drown. It is pretty good for PvP. The problem is that it jumps really far. So if you do not aim properly, it can end badly. And when you actually land, the impact zone will be quite small. At the same time, we continue moving at our usual speed. It may seem slow, but you're moving exactly the same way as you would without the transformation. You can try to predict where the enemy is running, but they will probably see it coming and just dodge. That is why Buddha is mostly good for farming, especially if you have a lot of points put into fighting style. And here's the last ability. You basically just explode. Well, you shoot out a big beam. It is almost like the first ability, but way better. I don't understand why the explosion produces these beams if they don't damage the enemy. Just compare the first ability and this last one. The explosion is much bigger. If I stood right here, I would have hit that NPC with the last one. But with the first one, I would not have touched him. The second one would not have reached either. Let me wait for it to reload. Okay, I moved a little further back, but with the last ability, I would have hit him. The only downside is that the last ability does not grab the enemy and then explode. If it did that, it would be so much stronger for PvP. And if it had some cool animation like Tiger or Control, then it would be perfect. I think they would have moved Buddha to Mythic tier if it had that. By the way, let me know in the comments what your favorite mythic fruit is. Now let's check out some combos. Also, I wanted to mention that fighting style reaches further when you are transformed. You will see, once the enemy is inside this circle, you can still hit them. And that's a big plus, because the enemy can't hit you. All right, let's move on to the combos. The combo looks something like this. You do the first ability, then the second, and then this one. Overall, Buddha is way better for farming, especially because while you're transformed, enemies cannot hit you with fighting style or swords if they do not have abilities active. Even NPCs cannot touch you. You can just keep hitting them over and over until they die. That is a really big advantage. And the thing is, I have not put many points into fighting style in my stats yet, so I do not hit very hard. That is why I'm not really good at playing Buddha right now. Overall, I think Buddha is actually better in V2. Big thanks to the viewer who wrote in the comments that he can help me get light V2. But right now, I'm only doing reviews for V1 fruits. So the V2 fruit reviews will come a bit later. Thanks a lot for leaving comments. I really appreciate your opinion. I'm waiting to read what you guys think. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe so you do not miss the new ones that are coming soon. That is all for today. See you next time.